Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series. Hey guys, it's Adam here. Before we proceed with PlayLoad, I wanted to show you this artwork that a user named Terrific Zombie made up for me for my channel. It's on the main page of it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and check out all my video game pickups for August 2013. First up is Snatcher. I got this for the Sega Saturn, shipped with a couple of PS1 games, which we'll talk about shortly. This is a game made by Hideo Kojima, who eventually made the Metal Gear Solid games. The Sega Saturn version only was released in Japan and is not super rare. There is a Sega CD version of this, or Mega CD. Those versions are exceedingly rare. I would love to get my hands on the American Sega CD version. This one is probably technically more impressive, as the Saturn is more powerful than the Sega CD, but it's hardcore Japanese. I tried to play it, I really did. Couldn't get into it at all because I can't understand anything that's going on. So, and yet another reason I really want to get my hands on the Sega CD version, because I like Hideo Kojima games. So, yeah, you know, if I get the Sega CD version, then maybe I can go back and enjoy this if I understand basically how the game works. But, yeah, moving on, I got this. This is a very Japanese game called something like Minimony, Tambourine, and Shake, or something like that, is the rough translation. I don't really remember. I only got it for one reason. Sega made it. Yes, I did a whole video on this. Sega made 2 games, or at least published 2 games, for the PS1, right towards the end of the PS1's lifespan, and just as Sega was going all third party. This is a spiritual successor to Samba de Amigo, and I actually tested this out with the... an idea occurred to me after I was done testing this game out. I wanted to try and use it on a Dreamcast using the Bleemcast beta that leaked onto the internet so many years ago. And much to my surprise, this game runs incredibly well on it. So you can actually play this on your Sega Dreamcast. Not to its fullest potential, of course, but it is neat to know that technically this Sega release can operate on a Sega machine. Now, the other one is Puyo Puyo Son. This was originally on the Sega Saturn and was ported over to the PS1, I think at the time, by someone else. My understanding is that the Sega version that actually says Sega on it is kind of like a greatest hits re-release. I don't really know how that works exactly. This version did not work on the Dreamcast. I tried using the same method. But it does exist on a Sega Saturn, so there you go. If you like puzzle games, kind of like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine or any of those kinds of things, you'll like Puyo Puyo Son. For the Nintendo Wii, I got, and yes, I have a new Wii game. I have Link's Crossbow Training. This, as you can see, is kind of torn. I think this originally came packaged with the console at some point, because I don't know why else it would be like this. This is a relatively common disc. You can generally get this for about $1. That's all I paid for it. I really didn't play it much, but, you know, it was just something to pick up. Zelda related. I'm slowly trying to get all the Zelda stuff, so this was technically on the list. This game, We Dare, for the Nintendo Wii. Now, I got this from retrotowers.co.uk. That's an awesome store in the UK, and I highly recommend you go and check them out. If you use my name as a coupon code, AdamK, you get 5% off your order no matter what the item. But yeah, I bought this from him. This is a game that looks relatively interesting. I'm thinking about having us play this on my other channel, Game Society Pimps, because we do a lot of comedy gaming videos, and this one just looks, by its very nature, to be hilarious. Unfortunately, it was never released here. It was only released in European regions, or PAL regions, I guess I should say. Actually, I doubt this came out in Australia, but yeah, so at least it was released in Europe. And it's region-coded. I do not have a region-free or European Wii, though I am in the process of getting a Wii that is region-free, so I will be able to do this eventually. But for now, I have no review of this because I can't play it. But yeah, I'm hoping that that becomes a possibility for Game Society Pimps at some point. For the original Xbox, Halo 2 multiplayer map pack. Yes, this is pretty much the epitome of useless. Of course, because all these servers are down, you can't play online, and even when you did, I still wouldn't have played it. Really, this was incredibly cheap. I mean, this was like, you know, 50 cents. You know, this was nothing. So I was like, that's worth picking up just for the novelty's sake. But really, back in the day, this was one of the best ways to get DLC, man. You just got this disc and installed everything all at once. And technically you still could, but unless they allow for some sort of offline mode where you can just kind of play against the computer, I'm making this shit up. I don't know if that game supports that. But if they do, then I guess it's not a total loss. But if they don't, then yeah, it's basically a coaster. The Thing for the original Xbox. I haven't really played this either. Based on the movie The Thing. I'm not sure if it's based on the first one. I'm betting it's based on the 1982 movie. Probably not the remake. But yeah, just looks like a survival horror kind of game. Basically like the movie was. And yeah, this was also not much money. Original Xbox games. If you're into the original Xbox, no better time to start collecting it than now. Games are dirt cheap right now. Do it. Also for the original Xbox, King of Fighters 2002 and King of Fighters 2003 pack. I like the King of Fighters games, I'm just not any good at them. This is an interesting release for a few reasons. There was a brief time there where SNK just really got into the Xbox. I'm not really sure why. Both of these games were intended for a Dreamcast release. King of Fighters 2002 actually did get a Dreamcast release. 03 was supposed to, it never did. There wasn't quite enough support, which is unfortunate. Interestingly, this release is 2 discs, and anyone who understands about disc size, well, they'll be confused because, I mean, these games, like this game by itself ran on the Dreamcast. It was only a gigabyte, and I can't imagine that they're on a, on a DVD-R, or well, DVD technology. I mean, these things can go up to 8 gigs. Would be astonished if they needed 2 discs. There must have been some reason they did this. Maybe they just liked having 2 discs. I mean, SNK has always been a company that has no concept of money, so I don't know, maybe they just liked it that way. Interestingly, that does have one slight benefit. King of Fighters 2002 will run on a 360. King of Fighters 2003 will not. I'm not really sure why that's the case. I mean, I'm not a programmer, but I would imagine it couldn't have been that hard to just come up with a single bootloader that would have had both games together. But apparently, they just didn't feel the need to do that. If anybody out there knows why, I'd love to know. King of Fighters Neo Wave for the original Xbox. I get the feeling somebody traded both of these in at the same time. Also, not an expensive game. This one was apparently, according to this, was exclusive to the Xbox. Now, I'm very weary of those types of things because they said that about Shenmue 2. I mean, they say that about a lot of games that aren't really exclusive. But, yeah, so this game played fine. I mean, you would think a game that was exclusive to the console would look more like it, but no, this looks straight off the Neo Geo. So I'm betting it was also on the Neo Geo AES, or at least the MVS, I don't know. But the game played fine, though I prefer those. Blinks 2, Masters of Time and Space. Also, this actually was just for the Xbox. Microsoft kind of got into platformers there for a bit. I really like platformers, so I'm very glad to have this. I need to play this more. I wish platformers would make more of a comeback. And I haven't played this much yet, but I played the first one a little bit, and it was fun, and I'm hoping to play this and enjoy the series, and who knows, maybe they'll make a Blinks 3 one day, but I kind of doubt it. Unless they already did, and I just missed it. For the Xbox 360, Onii-Chanbara Bikini Samurai Squad. My girlfriend encouraged me to get this. She just said it was, supposed to be a lot of fun, just having samurai ninja girls, and they attack and kill people, and yeah, so I said, alright, fine. Once I found it, it wasn't particularly expensive. I said, what the hell? And I found out it actually sells for quite a bit online, but I've seen it, that must be just a specific instance, because I've seen this in stores a couple times now, and it tends to go around for 15 bucks. I paid 10, but online I've seen it go for like 75, so I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, so there you go. That's why I got that. Assassin's Creed 1. I have never owned an Assassin's Creed game until now. My friend Aaron Yonda, who I run Game Society Pimps with, gave this to me for free, which I will explain in a little bit. I have not had the chance to play it yet. I've not played any of the Assassin's Creed games, but now I can at least start on it and see if I like the series at all. For the PS2, we have Ratchet Deadlocked. Another successor in the Ratchet and Clank series. You guys might remember last month I got a package from a guy named Sean Rossick who gave me all the Ratchet and Clank games, I guess saved for this one, on the PS2.
And once I got them all, you know, being who I am, I just felt like, oh, I should probably complete it. So I saw this one. This was like $4, so I just went ahead and picked it up so that I could at least, you know, have all of them, at least that I'm aware of. I think there must be PS3 versions by now. But yeah, I at least got those. And then The Last of Us. Now this is kind of it really shouldn't be here, but it kind of has to be. I've actually had this since it came out, but it hasn't been in my possession. We needed it for Game Society Pimps videos, and so I let my friend Aaron Yonda borrow it, and I let him borrow a PS3. And it's been in his possession since the game came out, because he's just been taking forever to play it. And you know, basically, as a way to apologize for holding on to the game for so long when I really wanted to play it, he just gave me Assassin's Creed because he really didn't like the game. So I said, okay, that's fine, whatever. Yeah, so I haven't played this at all. I would really like to, and now I finally can. And I want to give a special shout out to a girl named Ashley Bauer, who is a big fan of our Game Society stuff, who actually bought this for us. That was really awesome of her. She didn't have to do that, but she did it anyway. So thank you, Ashley, for giving us The Last of Us. On to the Sega Genesis. I got a couple of games here. Now, I did pick up some sports games, but they were incredibly cheap. Like, all of these are really cheap, so I feel kind of bad. I have a soft spot for, you know, Sega consoles in particular. And so when I see a game I don't have, and it's like nothing, I'll pick it up. I mean, you know, these were like a quarter, you know, like, you just do it. So it's NBA Showdown 94. I mean, you know what you're going to get with NBA Showdown 94. Centurion, Defender of Rome. Keep in mind, all of these Genesis games you're about to see were only a quarter. This actually was probably an interesting game to the right kind of player, which is not me. It's kind of like a point-and-click, almost like RTS is what it seemed to be when I was trying it out. So, yeah, I'm sure there's people who like those kinds of games. I'm not one of them. Super Baseball 2020. You kind of know what you're going to get. The future with robots in 2020. There will be robots everywhere, I'm sure. And The Incredible Hulk. This is probably more like my type of game. I like a lot of 2D platformers, and I'm sure this is probably just Hulk beating stuff up, so that sounds fun. Sports Talk Baseball. Again, you know what you're going to get. This was not 25 cents. This is something I found elsewhere. This is Space Harrier for the 32X. I've kind of made it a goal to get all the 32X games, but I haven't tried that hard to do it. And this was just one that I saw that I didn't happen to have. It wasn't too much, so I said, all right, the hell with it, and I picked it up. I mean, we all kind of know Space Harrier. I'm sure you guys have played it over the years. You can play this in Shenmue, actually. It's available in the U Arcade. So, yeah, plenty of ways to play Space Harrier. It's made by Yu Suzuki, dude who made Shenmue. It's not a bad game, but not really a great one either, in my opinion. For the Sega Game Gear, I don't pick up Game Gear games particularly often, but in this case I did. This is Revenge of Drancon. Didn't really play this much, but yeah, it was just a Game Gear game and it was cheap. Again, that's why I have these Game Gear games. I have Baku Baku, which is actually a cool puzzle game on the Sega Saturn, and I assume that this is very similar, probably incredibly watered down because it's on the Game Gear, but again, it was cheap, man. And Virtua Fighter Animation. I didn't even know there was a Virtua Fighter game on Game Gear. And yet, there it is. And it was cheap. That's why I got it. Though, honestly, Virtua Fighter has never been my favorite fighting game series. That title goes to the Dead or Alive franchise. Also another system I never pick up games for. The Nintendo DS. Sonic Colors. $4. Why the hell not? Yeah. I played this for a little bit, and I can see why everyone says that this and Sonic Generations are the only two good Sonic games since Sonic Adventure 2, excluding things like Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. This was pretty fun. Just for the little bit that I played it, I enjoyed it. So, yeah, I'm really glad that I was able to find this, especially for only $4. Now on to a mystery package. Look at this. This came from the UK. This was sent to me by a guy named Luke. I'll put a link to his channel right here. Go check him out. He sent this to me absolutely for free after he saw my video on, of all things, converting SCART to HDMI. At the end of that video, I mentioned that I have an Amiga CD32, but I have absolutely no games for it. And the Amiga CD32 only did well in the UK. In fact, it was never even released in the United States. So finding games for it in North America is borderline impossible. It had a very small release in Canada, but nothing that, you know, even most Canadians that are gamers don't even know it was ever released there. So, yeah, it's incredibly rare to find games for it. But in the UK, it's a little bit more common. Now, he had this game laying around in his house, apparently, and he didn't have the system, and he was like, dude, if you want it, it's yours. But he never told me the name of the game, and then by the time he shipped it, he said he'd already forgotten what it was. So I don't know, and apparently he didn't know. So we're going to all find out here at the exact same moment, which is going to be a little hard to do with only one hand, but I'm going to go for it. All right, cutting in. All right, let's see how easily I can get this out with only one hand. Guess I'll put down the camera and we can look in there together. Pull it from the side. There's a letter here, which I guess I will read to all of you, if I can get it open. It says, Hey Adam, I see you finally have your Amiga CD32 up and running and are able to use it on your TV. I see recently that you currently don't have any games for that system, which is a shame. I recently got a game for the system that is in my possession. I have no use for it, as I'm a big fan of your show, and you love to give games to a good home. I thought I would donate it to you, as it would be awesome to see that Amiga CD32 playing these games. I hope that you like your game and it gets to you undamaged. Keep up the awesome work, man. Regards, Luke Playster. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Playster 101 in the UK. Again, like I said, his channel is Playster 101. Go check it out. But here's the game, and let's find out what it is. It's a game called, looks like Diggers and Oscar. Does that make any sense to anybody? Diggers and Oscar. Or maybe the company is Diggers. Yeah, that's cool. I've never ever seen an Amiga CD32 game in person before. That's cool. There's a picture of the controller. I mean, I was obviously just expecting a CD, which is exactly what it is. Yeah, I'll have to test this out and see if this is any fun or what exactly this game is. There's no back insert, so I have no screenshots or anything. All I have is this little pixelated artwork, but I don't know if that's the name of the company that made it or that's the name of the game. I guess I'll find out once I turn it on. And so there's only one other thing this month that I picked up, and it's something I'm very excited about. I got a Super Famicom. I have never had a Super Famicom before. It came with a single controller, which is like the Super Nintendo controller, but has multiple colored buttons and says Super Famicom, and it also has an insanely short cord. The Super Famicom, to those who do not know, is the Japanese version of the Super Nintendo. If you're in European regions, then you'll recognize the body design because, well, this is what the Super Nintendo looked like for you, except it didn't say Super Famicom. In the US and in Canada, we got a really boxy, cartoony looking thing called the Super Nintendo. This is a much nicer looking design, I think. I think most people would agree with that. And the Super Famicom is capable of playing Super Nintendo games, American Super Nintendo games. However, they don't fit naturally, so you have to have like a little adapter to fit them in. It came with one, but I forgot to include it in this video. It's a very yellowed looking thing, which is unfortunate, but I'll take care of that maybe later someday. But yeah, I picked this up locally for $40, which I thought was a hell of a good deal. It's incredibly good looking, as you can see. It's not yellowed or anything. But it didn't come with any games, so I'm completely reliant on that adapter and my Super Nintendo collection for this machine. But it's just neat to have. You know, I've never had a Super Famicom, and they're going up in value. All the Super Nintendo kind of stuff is. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's all my pickups for August 2013. I want to thank Luke for my only Amiga CD32 game, Ashley Bauer for The Last of Us, Aaron Yonda for Assassin's Creed, and of course I want to give another shout out to Retro Towers, because that store is awesome. Go check them out and get something for your Wii or whatever you want. And that's it, guys, and I'll see you all later.